data to the right places. So they can go ahead and submit it to our RFP that's going to do the pricing. And so we've had a considerable amount of success with this. We think it's really a game changer. We rolled it out to 100 associates so far. It's going to be, as we scale out next year, we think two things. It's going to really link back to our manager that yes, they're going to be happy because they're going to get a sales to go back fairly quick. And then it's going to be business for our hotels because we're going to be responding.
No, one of the use cases that we use for our associates for the engagement center is management tool that we have. So you can imagine we have 9,000 hotels, 30 plus brands, a Marriott Bonvoy children. Your benefits vary across country, across brand, and across level. So when you chat or you email, there is an associate that needs to take all of those factors into consideration before they respond. So from a knowledge management perspective, the test that we did was we reported all of our knowledge management. I would ask you to guess how many there are. Anybody want to take a quick guess? What's your mark? Okay, hold on. This is the reason I'm going to say it. This is a commercial break right here. We have, and we were trying to decide if we're going to use that temptation to get people into the room, which we clearly did. So now we're going to get people to stay in the room. So you have to stay till the end, and we're going to see who gets closest to answer Frit's question, and that person will get the Bonvoy gift card to one of our 9,000 plus properties or to help with the stay there. Okay, continue on. So I'm going to ask multiple questions. You don't know which one we're going to pick, all right? So knowledge management, two of you said close to 10,000, right? Anybody else want to go? 300,000.
1.5.
What? Oh, I don't think I'd be working. Yes, no, it's not 500,000. It varies, but at that time we had close to 1 million different data points that we had to factor in. Right? And this is just for 9,000 hotels. So you can imagine, as we take on more brands, more products, we have homes and villas, we have the Ritz-Carlton yachts, we have a lot of different services that we offer, and we have a new CEO. His mantra is more, and more deals. And those deals aren't necessarily hotels, right? So as we look at that, what we want to do is make sure that we meet the customers where they are from a Gen AI perspective. I'll give you an example. You may want to just make a change on your reservation. First, we need to figure out who you are, what level you are, and do you qualify to make the change without a penalty? Gen AI can help with that. Today, you're required to call an associate of ours if it falls outside of the parameters that we've outlined for you. But on the other hand, I said homes and villas and the Ritz-Carlton yacht. That's probably not a transaction that you just want to perform over the phone. You want to speak to someone. So I can't add the number of associates that I need based on the demand. What I can do is create capacity with Gen AI. So we have to be very clear that it's not about job elimination. It's about creating capacity so that I can take the highest level of customers, the most profitable ones, and offer services to them. So in addition to booking the yacht, do you want to book a spa? Do you want to book food and beverage? Can I help you with your transportation? So we're looking at it as a revenue driver for us, and also meeting the customers where they are.
Great. You know, those are great, really specific examples. I positive on both sides. So, Fred, let's stay with you for this one. So, we talked about this need, and now you've got a workforce that's got to quickly be upskilled. So, how can organizations upskill their organizations to make sure that AI
Yeah, what's great about this is we're all learning at the same time, right? And you can take multiple methods of learning. There are certifications, MIT currently offers one. I've had a few members of my team that have embarked in it and they love it. They said it was a bit more work than they thought it was going to be, right? Balancing life and family and everything else. But it was very valuable to them. And there are universities now that will be offering Gen AI degrees, right? Cornell is evaluating a few. Penn is also looking at that. So it tells you from an academic and growth perspective, it is being recognized as definitely a trade of the future. In the interim, as Greg said, right, we tested Copilot at Marriott with a small team, a small group. I would say test and learn and raising your hand for every single opportunity. You remember what we said at the beginning, how do you prevent biases? If you're not in the seat driving, you cannot influence. So there's free certifications that you can, there are things that are being offered on LinkedIn. There's a try and test, sign up for every single opportunity. You want to be at the forefront of it and not being advised or guided as to how you made the decision, but influencing the products and tools. The other thing that I would say is make sure that you're aware of what tools your companies are using as it relates to Gen AI. And get comfortable with understanding the vendors, get comfortable with understanding the tools, how they use them, who has access to them. Things like GDPR, your privacy, data retention. Learn as much as you can, not just about the US standards, but globally, because they will influence us day in day and they're changing, right? So as much as you can, whether it be free or paid, as part of your personal development, you can put it with your, your boss or your leader to say, I want to know more. So as part of my personal development, it doesn't matter if you're in legal, it doesn't matter if you're in distribution, it doesn't matter where you are, but make sure that this becomes part of your path from a career perspective, but also just so that you can know.
That's a great answer. And I think, so Rick gave great examples, I think, from the sort of the workforce. Is there anything from that leadership perspective of how you can facilitate making sure teams throughout the organization know what opportunities are there?
Yeah, I think from I'm gonna kind of talk about it from the say if you're in a spot of leadership, you're gonna get hit by every vendor, Accenture, Deloitte, everyone's gonna come up to you and say, we're investing billions in Gen AI, let us build something for you, let us build something for you. And what you're gonna find is you really need to be disciplined. You don't have to build it yourself, but studies are showing that a lot of companies are getting very fragmented. This group, this business unit's gonna go spend money with this company, they're gonna build something. This business unit's gonna spend. So be disciplined, try to come up with, look through your organization and see what are the capabilities that are going to drive multiple use cases. So, and they're typically not that many. It's some type of augmented search retrieval. There's usually a summarization, some type of chat. Organize your use cases around what those 4 capabilities are, and then invest. You don't have to build it, but at least invest with one company that can help drive multiple use cases through so that you're not wasting money. Not that you're not wasting money, but you're going to at least spend the money in one central place and then power multiple. So that I would really say just be very disciplined in how you're approaching Gen AI because everybody's working on it. So you're going to get hit from so many vendors. So just try to be disciplined. And then just I'll layer in with what Fritz said personally. Just I'm not as much a podcast person, but Udemy. I love Udemy because you can look at the business impact of Gen AI. You can look at the technical if you're really interested in learning prompt engineering, how to do lang chain. So I would say I need like hands-on to kind of make it a fit for me. So there's business and technical. So again, be a subject matter expert, learn it, get in there and research. And like Fred said, know what your company's investing. so that you become that SME for that you instead of a vendor.
Useful more than writing, and congratulating you to your pre-K teacher. Editing, I found quite effective and productive. So, but thanks to you both. So that's sort of our prepared Q&A we do. Looking at my monitors in the back, we definitely have some time for questions from the audience. So I think it's informal enough. Once the organizers have an issue, folks can just raise their hand, and if we need to get a mic to you, we will. But hopefully the room is small enough for. So any questions? Oh, there's one down in the front.
So that individual not bring that one industry. So the Gen AI is more scary because they get something. So are we talking Gen AI, machine learning?
Both,
Yeah.
we're talking about both. And, so the million points that I mentioned before, it was a combination of such, right? You could have one document that could have over 100 different points, right? So I'm a gold member, I stayed at a courtyard, get breakfast, and is it in China or is it in Alabama? Two different offerings. So there's one document that has general information. And there's another one that says, if you were just talking about breakfast, this is what it means from a lead level perspective. So when you think about the search process that we have to go through and knowing how to ask the question so that you get the right answer, because we had issues with that. We didn't have associates that were skilled enough to ask the question the right way. So they would get multiple responses that weren't really relevant, but the responses weren't wrong because it's just going out and it's scraping all of the articles that you have, right? So think about that skill for a future employee of being able to do the prompts just so that you get the right answer first. The other thing to consider as part of this is the cost for Gen AI. This is one of the places where I would say, when you're working with vendors, as Greg said, they all sound really great. You want to sign up tomorrow. But then the tokenization to get the data, we didn't anticipate that either. And that's why piloting and testing is going to be so crucial. And similar to your computer or your iPhone, I probably have I don't know what I'm big into it, but I change my phone normally with my little cousin tell me, what is that? Right? I'm like, okay, I guess I need to go get a new one. Your pictures are right. You need this, right? But this whole every 2 years is shifting so quickly, right? So you want to be very cautious, but courageous. I don't want to be one of these people that thinks, you've heard, right? There's people who invested in Amazon or Apple 25 years ago with $10,000, right? You don't want to be that person who had that $10,000 that could invest in the city for billions now, 20 years later. And it's scary. I have to be honest about that. When it's right, it's so right. But when it's wrong, it's deadly wrong, right? So how do we make sure that we have all the right sources? And those 1 million data points, as good as they were, the other issue that we had is they changed within the minute or the minute. So how do you make sure that you're adapting to all the changes? So if we have a storm in Maui, the output is different at this point, right? And how do you make sure that you're back or not getting wrong? That's just an example that we went through. All right, we have
Well, I was just gonna say, as far as the machine learning part, we've been doing that probably for 5 to 10 years. Well, that's not changing. It's like the way we do automated room upgrades is all based on machine learning. And again, having an associate there to be able to change it if it's, cringy. So.
Okay, I know we have time for, there's just like that. Oh,
question is like, how are you use their use case to share satisfaction? And also, it's really around the user experience. And the other one, I guess a follow-up question to that, how do you balance the different kind of customer needs as well too, right? Because some might be receptive to GenAI, the look with the experience of funnel, right? How do you balance this issue? With the user experience, knowing that your customers have different needs, like that.
You want to take the search that you
So I think one of the things we're trying to do, at least from a search perspective on the website, so we've done this with our homes and villas, is that using more natural language search. So today, if you think about how it's always happened in hospitality, you have to pick a first, you pick a starting date, end date, and then what city do I want to go to? And what if I want to just say, I want to bring my pet somewhere in Hawaii, and maybe 1 mile from the ocean. Tell me some listings. We've never had that capability to kind of parse out your language into a really valid search. So within HBMB, we've actually done that. You can actually search for just like you're naturally having a conversation with someone on the phone, like, show me where I can find these types of things. That's one of the things we're looking at. And we're looking to see now, how can we roll it out to our mothership, the Marriott.com, because to her point, tokens are expensive. And so every time that's going, there's a cash register hitting. And so we got to make sure the ROI is right. Got to make sure that the large language model we're using behind the scenes is set up to make sure that the volume we would be sending with Marriott, so that there's a good ROI.
Yeah, so we want to create the right friction point for our customers. There are some people who, based on fear, they just want to use it. Believe it or not, we have a lot of our customers who will pick up and call and make reservations. Those are the majority of our reservations. Can you believe it? Right? I'm telling you. So we are trying to get our deflection rate up. And the deflection, though, requires that we don't just push the call, we also need to contain the call so that the member completes that experience. Because it's different than a bank, right? A bank can push you as much as they want to for the most part. You're locked in with your money, your mortgage, your car note, everything else, right? So it takes you hours to get through to someone in some cases. With us, we don't want you to do that. If you try 1 or 2 times, it doesn't work for you, we want you to put as much money in our cash register as possible. So we're going to pop up an individual that says, I'll take over right now. So what we're doing is mapping the customer journey to see at which point does it make sense for us to introduce it, and give them a bailout, right? If it's not for them, then they bail out, they can pick up the phone, they can chat with us, they can text us, they can do whatever they want. But we have to be very clear on when to introduce that point and when not to introduce it.
Hey, Chris, just anecdotally, really quick, when I was at healthcare, there was a pilot we rolled out for the 1-800 number for a specific medical group. They did a study with human interactions, the bot interactions. The studies really kind of blew our minds because a lot of people were more comfortable talking to a bot about their health issues, felt more empathy from the bot than they actually did the person who's on the phone. So really quick, that was just
And that's why you work with us now.
yeah.
No, well, thank you. Well, that was a great discussion.
Okay, all right. Well, it was we made an agreement that was answers and questions, right?
Yes.
Did anyone record when I said that? All right. So we have this, at Marriott, we call it courageous, being really courageous about asking questions. And I really want to say that you were one of the first. You followed up with questions. So thank you.
Okay, well, thank you all. Thank you so much for coming and spending time with us this morning, and hope that you felt it was informative. informative. Thanks, Greg. Thanks, Fred, and you guys enjoy the rest of the conference.